episode number 24. I am your co-host, Ryan Smith. Alongside me is former NFL tight end Ben Troupe. Played his professional ball with the Oakland Raiders at the time, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and most formerly the Tennessee Titans. So, Ben, the AFC and NFC championship games have come and gone. We know who is in the Super Bowl. We have a matchup of 2 years ago, a rematch, Philadelphia Eagles versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Let's go ahead and break down the two games that we saw in the championship games, and then we can go with our players and not so players of the week. Kind of go into that as we normally do. So first, let's just start with your themes from these two games. First, Philadelphia over the Washington Commanders, 55-23. This game was never really in doubt, in my opinion. The Eagles, Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, 7 rushing touchdowns, ties a championship game record. I mean, just absolutely bananas. The Eagles just steamrolled them. Jalen Daniels did not do any thing to hurt the Commanders in this game, but it felt like they were just always one step behind, whether it was turning over the ball 4 times or just kind of step slow offensively. And my boy Frankie Luva, I don't know if you saw this, kept jumping over the pile to try to prevent the tush push there on the 1 yard line. Former Panther great there. So anyway, those were some of my thoughts. What were your thoughts on this game?
I think when we start talking about what Saquon Barkley brings to a team, when you actually utilize his talent, understand the brilliance understand the brilliance of Saquon Barkley, that's what you saw and his effect on the game. People ask, 7 rushing touchdowns. Shipley, 4 rushing, 77 yards in a touchdown. Saquon, 15 for 118, 3 touchdowns. Jalen Hurts, 10 for 16 and 3 touchdowns. 7 touchdowns in an NFC championship game proves one thing. We don't think you guys are tough enough up front to stop us. We don't think you guys are built to stop the run. And running the football in any level of football, it's all about attitude and mentality. The very first time Saquon Barkley touched the ball, he was gone. And you knew, Smitty, at this point when it comes to Saquon, you know after 3 or 4 carries how this game gonna look like, this gonna get ugly. And mind you, they scored 55 points and they kind of backed off a little bit. They could have easily scored 60 something. They could have easily done that. Now, let me say this about Jalen Hurts in the passing game, because when in a game like this, when you score 55 points, people think, well, you put up a 50 burger on the Commanders, nothing, everything went your way. No, Jalen Hurts 20-28, 246 yards, 1 touchdown. Obviously, A.J. Brown got into the 6 for 96 and a touchdown. What you saw on Sunday was pure dominance. And Jaden Daniels, he's still the greatest rookie quarterback we've ever seen. The Eagles was just too much. Pick your poison. The defense, Nolan Smith making that big sack on Jalen Daniels, running him down. It was some great football being played. Taking that away from the Commanders, but they was familiar with each other. And everybody kept saying when the Commanders did win, they was down Jalen Carter, and I think they was down Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. All those things went away. They had everything on their side. Home field, check. Momentum, check. Saquon Barkley, check. Jalen Hurts, check. That defense, check. And most importantly, experience. It's a lot of experienced guys on that Eagles team that they've done this before. And when you start talking about what they've been able to assemble, Nakobe Dean, their second leading tackle to go with Bond, he's out for the rest of he after that first playoff game. Darius Slay still getting it done, right? I think this defense for the Eagles plays such great complementary football. They put pressure on the opposing offense. They make you make quick decisions. And if you make a mistake, they're going to hurt you. And none of that really mattered on Sunday because it was just the Commanders knew, even going back to what you said, Smitty, diving over the pile. Look, at a certain point, when you know the game is over, like the game is over, now I can't control my emotions. I'm going to keep doing my Troy Polamalu impression and just diving over the pile. And my brother called me. He was like, they're going to award him a touchdown. I'm like, well, yeah. It's only so many more inches you can, if they're on the 1 inch line, they're going to move it, but I give Coach Dan Quinn, I give the Washington Commanders a lot of credit. No one, including the Commanders, no matter what they say, saw them doing this. I mean, when we talk about what Dan Snyder, the former owner of the then Washington Redskins and the Washington football team, what he left that front office it's in a mess. It was a straight mess going on up there in D.C. But now you talk about a guy in Jaden Daniels. You talk about a guy in Zach Ertz who won the Super Bowl with the Eagles on the opposing side. It was some good moments, but Smitty, this game was over really, really quickly because once you knew we cannot stop Saquon Barkley. Like we can't. And to the Commanders' credit, no one could this year. So it's not like somebody else did something. No one could this year. But no, shout out to Jalen Hurts because I think with a guy like Jalen Hurts, we talk so much about. I know we're gonna get to Patrick Mahomes. I know we're gonna get to Josh Allen, the Lamar Jackson of the world. We act as if you got to be a first-team All-Pro quarterback to win Super Bowls. No, you got to have a big game when you need it. And the one thing that Jalen Hurts had, the three things he has on his side, is his running ability, it's Saquon Barkley, and the freaking tush push. I mean, he got it. Like if it's 4th and 1, hey, just bring the field goal, the kicker on the field. But it was a beautiful game to watch, Smitty, because I think the thing about the Eagles is, from the fan base to the team to the expectation, some people go to the Super Bowl, they never make it back. They never get back, and that's and like I said, I know they got the rematch, but this was about the Eagles. I ain't taking hats off to the Washington Commanders. They got a great future ahead of them if they continue to put pieces around a guy like Jaden Daniels. They ran into a buzzsaw, and it got ugly, and it stayed ugly. And like somebody said, it could have been 70 points. I mean, 55 is already crazy. But so shout out to the Eagles. Shout out to Jalen Hurts. Shout out to AJ Brown. I don't know if he had a book on the sideline, but once again, if you need a book to read, just come and finish. AJ, go, get on. Because the thing about the receiving core for the Eagles, even though they was making plays on Sunday, it's almost like they're just there. Hey man, remember we got some receivers that's getting them involved. With Devonta Smith and Dallas. And AJ. It's almost like they're just there because this was the Saquon Barkley show. He is, and something we said, Smitty, and I'm gonna keep living by it. If the Eagles don't win the Super Bowl, which I mean we'll get to that, maybe another two. We got to get to it today necessarily. If they don't win it, they have wasted Saquon's year because he didn't get the scoring title. And once again, all these players that you have, how many of them can you keep come 2026, or 2025 and moving forward? But great. I mean, if you're an Eagles fan, you loved it. If you are an Eagles hater, you hated it because you just turned your TV off. And Jaden and the Commanders, valiant effort. But that jumping over the pile, it did get ridiculous at a certain point. But what you gonna tell a man that's, hey man, this is my last game. And sometimes Smitty, people say, would you rather lose in the NFC Championship game or you rather lose in the division round? I don't know because that NFC because. It just certain players and teams will never even know what it's like to even go to an NFC Championship game, division rival. But hey man, shout out to them birds. Shout out to guys like Nolan Smith, a guy that I got a chance to interview when he was signing his national letter of intent to go to the University of Georgia. Super duper happy for that guy. Darius Slay, a guy that I used to live in Brunswick, so I got a chance to get a chance. I don't know him, but I know of him. Really, really down to earth guy. And some of these guys are going for trying to get that coveted Super Duper Bowl. We'll get to that, but it's all about them birds. Shout out to the birds. Shout out to Nick Sirianni, who silenced every single doubter that has something. Started with the beginning of the season and during the season and all this, and then obviously they was booing Sirianni because they didn't let Saquon play the last game of the season against those Giants. That told him, "You ain't, we never really wanted you anyway." But shout out to them birds, man. I mean, that's about as dominant. Listen, what it reminds me of is 2015 when they won Carolina Panthers team, played against Arizona, and
that's a good comparison. That's a good comparison.
It was 2015 all over. We just hope that it ends differently in the Super Bowl than it did, 2015.
The Kansas City Chiefs took down the Baltimore Ravens 32-29. They are headed to New Orleans to face those Eagles for the second time in 3 years. 3 straight years in the Super Bowl now, though, for the Kansas City Chiefs. Can they make it a three-peat? Patrick Mahomes was spectacular. Josh Allen was spectacular. This game is always inches, but in these matchups, Allen falls 0-4 against the Chiefs in the playoffs, either in the divisional round or the championship game. And the Bills have not yet been to a Super Bowl since that magical run of 1990 to 1993, where they lost 4 straight Super Bowls. And Ben, I'll answer the question for any fans who were wondering. I'd rather get to the bowl, even if I lose.
Yeah.
I mean, even if it's 4 straight heartbreaking times like Jim Kelly and the Eagles did, or Jim Kelly and the Bills did back in the day. I'd rather get to the bowl and lose because at least they got through the bowl.
Yeah.
At least they got there.
No, yeah. No, I was just, man, please.
Yeah.
These games so precious, but yeah.
Yeah. I thought this game was pretty well matched throughout. The ones that, I'm not even going to talk about the stripes. That's a whole different conversation. You can if you want, but I'm not going to talk about them. I think at the end of the day, the Bills went for points certain times during the game. A few times they went for 2. They did not get it. The Chiefs did convert theirs. And combine that with just being tight down the stretch and a couple of calls that happened to go the Chiefs' way. Once again, the Chiefs are back in the Super Bowl 32-29 over the Buffalo Bills. The 2 plays in particular that I was thinking of myself was that 4th down call. As you know, that one they got stopped, where I think the referee on the broadcast said he thought Allen made it by 1/3 of an inch. And it's like, if we're talking about 1/3 of an inch at this point, it's like, we're, again, I'm not going to get into the stripes, but again, both quarterbacks were great, but I thought the real MVP, which I'll kind of say for our players and units of the game, though, was Steve Spagnuolo. I mean, the only time all night Spags sent the exotic corner blitz was that 4th down and 5 play at the very end. That was the only time all night that he used that exact blitz call. One time. That's it. 4th and 5, Bills season on the line, and that's when he decided to do it. And so you gotta give Spags some credit, and you gotta give Mahomes credit. And at the same time, you feel for Josh Allen, you feel for these Buffalo Bills that cannot quite get over this hump. I don't know what it is, Ben. The talent is there with Josh Allen. The talent is around him. He is playing well. He was 9-1, 9 touchdowns, 1 interception in the 3 prior games in the playoffs against the Chiefs. So it's not like he's playing bad. They just haven't gotten over the top. But congrats to the Chiefs, and now they face the Eagles.
This game lived up to it. Josh Allen is an incredible football player. He's probably going to win regular season MVP with everything he's done this season. But I think 2 things can be true. Josh Allen is on a Hall of Fame trajectory with what he's done thus far in his career. Josh Allen is one of the best quarterbacks in the world. Josh Allen is probably a top 2, top 3 quarterback, in the National Football League. With all that being said, Josh Allen understands what every other AFC quarterback has understood. It's something different by that dude in Kansas City. Because the thing about Patrick Mahomes is this. People say, what makes Patrick Mahomes Patrick Mahomes? He always rises to the occasion. Every single time. It's never been a time that he hasn't. And here's the thing, Smitty. We don't compare Patrick Mahomes to Josh Allen. We don't compare Patrick Mahomes to Lamar Jackson or Joe Burrow. We compare Patrick Mahomes to Patrick Mahomes. We've seen him literally do everything. And once again, if you are Josh Allen, you know what you're saying? You're going, dude, what makes a good team, not a great team, is celebrating things that are just commonplace, like regular season wins. Josh Allen and company beat Kansas City in the regular season. They did it in Buffalo. Walking off the field, you're going to have the pleasantries, you're going to have the professionalism of Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, who definitely respect each other, coming up and hugging each other. You can see Patrick Mahomes talking to Josh Allen. He said, man, congratulations on the win. He said, we'll see you guys down the road if you can make it that far. If you guys make it that far, we'll see you down the road, right? Because Patrick Mahomes understand, look, we only doing what we're doing to get home field advantage so we can, so everybody got to come through us. Josh Allen knew this. As great as I've been against Patrick Mahomes during the regular season, that ain't the one that count. This one game tournament to move on, that's when Patrick Mahomes is at his best. That's when he shows up the most. Now, this ref situation does bother me though, Smitty. And people tell me, oh, y'all talk. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Because it's blatant at this point. I get it if it's a call or two. But every game Kansas City is in is something. Every single. And we be saying to ourselves, wait a minute. I need replay for things that I'm kind of like, on the fence about. Not things that's a first down. Xavier Worthy, that's not a catch. And what makes it worse is when you go to the replay and they slow it every millisecond down. That ball came out. That's a first down. The rule on the field stand. What and if you are Buffalo, do you know what that does to you? That makes you say, if you haven't played Kansas City and you see this stuff, the first thing you say is, well, that's not gonna happen to us. Yeah, it will. Yeah, it will.
So let's go ahead and address the elephant in the room since you went there. Does Roger Goodell care about good referees? There are people out there who believe legitimately if the NFL is making that money, Goodell and Park Avenue up there, they don't care. They're not gonna.
Okay. This is the easy way to answer this. When the New England Patriots were caught taping the other team's plays, what did Roger Goodell and company do with those? They burned them. They burnt the tapes. Now hold on for a second. This is evidence. You're caught red-handed. Let's burn them. Because here's the thing, Smitty. Here's the thing. There's a difference between being one of the best players in the league and being the face of the league. Let me tell you why. Do you remember when Peyton Manning missed an entire year of football because he had the neck
injury? Yep,
the neck injury, right? He had the neck injury. So after that, you realize now can't hit the quarterback high. Anything close is a penalty. Then when Tom Brady missed the full season because he got a torn ACL, then you couldn't hit a quarterback low. Did they make rules because of Cam Newton? Remember, you see, Cam Newton got hit high and low. They didn't do anything because Cam Newton at one point for a season or two he was the face. How long was Tom Brady the face of the league? How long was Peyton Manning the face of the league? Now that's Patrick Mahomes. Because let me tell you what Patrick Mahomes has become. Patrick Mahomes has become that superstar that most people don't even know that who he plays for, but they know who he is. Oh, that's Patrick Mahomes. That's got to mean something. Now, I don't like this nonsense when people say the NFL is scripted. I don't believe that. Do I believe it be some stuff that make you, shake your head like, dude, what is going on? And it happens more with Kansas City. Because Kansas City is the premier NFL team in the league. They are the team that everybody wants to beat, that can't beat. But even with all that being said, it still shouldn't be happening like this. Because like I say, Smitty, it's every week. It's not like, oh, man, that happened 4 games ago. No, that happened this game, and the game before that, and the game before that. Because now, which, we'll get to with the Super Bowl coming, if you are Philly, right, that stuff messes with your psyche. Because if you are Josh Allen and company, let me say this. Kincaid, listen, man. Dalton Kincaid, listen, man. You're fine. To these people online, Buffalo fans, people that don't like Buffalo, talking trash about this young tight end, man, that didn't come up with the catch. We need to cut that stuff out. I appreciate Josh Allen coming to his teammates' aid and his other teammates coming to his aid saying, listen, man, nobody – isn't it similar that both Baltimore, Mark Andrews, Buffalo, Dalton Kincaid, dealing with this plays at the end of the game and say, you cost us the – man, it happens, man. It happens. Yeah. And these players, Kincaid is only in his second year out of Cincinnati. Out of Utah. I'm sorry, out of Utah. And yeah. I don't like that portion. That's the part of being a professional athlete that no one talks about is, with social media is vicious. If you go in there for, anything other than entertainment, please get off of it. But in a guy like Kincaid's situation with a fan base like Buffalo, who's so prideful, who's so, they love their Bills, they so loyal, they will turn on you in a second as if to say, this man ain't trying to give it his all. But I just want to say, Kincaid, man, hold your head. Mark Andrews, hold your head. And if you got to get off of social media because people, they be talking about these people's family members and wives, and come on, man. They want to win. But I just want to make sure I address that. But, yeah, with the ref situation, what can you do? I mean, really. I mean, if you Kansas City, you have no problem with it. And if you're any team that plays against them, you're saying this stuff looks blatant, man. It's almost like the refs having a meeting saying, I can't remember that ref that used to be in the NBA that was like betting on the games. They did like yeah, man. Like, I'm not saying it's to that point, but I would not be surprised, Smitty, if 10 years from now, 20 years from now, that you remember when they hit you with a 30-foot. What if I told you that when the Kansas City Chiefs played, it was some foul play going? Yeah, we can see it. And like I said, these are not isolated. It's like, and it always goes in Kansas City's favor. Oh, that's the part too. So, like I said, I don't want to sound like a hater because and listen. Oh, let me say this: I'm not a Kansas City hater. I can actually appreciate what Kansas City is doing. But what about when Kansas City didn't do it and the refs gonna make sure they do it? Because either it stalls the drive for Buffalo or it extends the drive for Kansas City. I ain't with that, man. Come on, man. The players work too hard, and I'm not saying that's gonna decide the game or not decide the game, but I mean, fourth down, first down. Anyway, shout out to Kansas City though. Andy Reid, the all-time winningest coach in Philadelphia Eagles history. And the all-time winningest coach in Kansas City history is both Andy Reid. Andy Reid is not talked about enough because he's going through a lot of changes. Remember when they thought, oh man, he's only good because he got Eric Bieniemy. Where's Eric Bieniemy at? Exactly. Oh, he on the pass game was only good because they got Tyreek. Where's Tyreek? Oh, I'm telling you, as long as you got Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, I think you got a shot. I really, really do, because even if Travis Kelce had 2 catches for like 19 yards and they won the game.
I mean, I'll say as long as you have Mahomes and Reed, I'll take out Travis Kelce.
Now, here's the thing, though. I guarantee you going into this game, Kansas City, they're going to take away Travis. If they smart, they're going to take away 8-7. And they did. But they had a plan for it. You think you're going to take away 8-7 in the Super Duper Bowl? All right, we'll see. But hey, Kansas City is the gold standard. Kansas City is the modern day dynasty, and no one could have saw that. No one could have saw that going from Alex Smith to Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, or putting together such an incredible culture, setting the vision. And when you got a guy like Patrick Mahomes who said, "Look, I don't got to be the best player in the world. I got to be the best player in the world on that day. On that day." Yep. Watch me do me, because no matter who's on the other sideline, whether it was Jackson, whether it was Burrow, whether it's Allen, whether it's Herbert, whether it's Tua, whether it's anybody on that AFC side, on the given day in the playoffs. Yeah. So shout out to you.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and get into our players of the week and not so players or units of the week with our last edition of this before the Super Bowl, based on these 2 games. I'll go ahead and I'll break it down. I've got one for each game specifically. I'll go kind of that specific. So for the Philadelphia and Commanders game, I've got Saquon Barkley as my player of the game. 3 touchdowns on the ground, 118 yards. And then my not-so player is actually the rushing stats. 229 rushing yards for the Eagles, just 99 for the Commanders. So the rushing yards in this game, which was Saquon Barkley, obviously, for the Eagles for the most part, just total one-sided. And then the Commanders, 4 turnovers. You're not going to win the day like that, turning over the ball 4 times to 0 turnovers for the Philadelphia Eagles. In the Kansas City and Buffalo game, my player of the game, well, as much as I want to say Patrick Mahomes, and that's the easy way out, I'm going to go with somebody else. Can we talk about Mr. Xavier Worthy? The way he only 6 catches for 85 yards, but he had that critical touchdown early in the game to kind of get themselves started. He had that catch, which they ruled it a catch, even if we didn't. Some of us may or may not agree with it. The guy made play after play, and he was dependable down the stretch for them. I'm not counting him technically as a player of the game. But shout out to Samaje Perine. I mean, they go to Samaje Perine when they need the game on the line. It's just that simple. The opportunities for Kansas City, the players, when they need to step up that one time, they step up. That's it. Like that's the difference. And Buffalo's did not. That's the difference. And then my not so player of the game, it's Dalton Kincaid. He had to come down with that catch. It's tough for me to say that because, it was a tough ball. It wasn't exactly like Mark Andrews from the divisional round, but it was close enough that he needed to make that catch. And then Sean McDermott is my other one. Love my fellow former Eagle, former Panther, Sean McDermott, head coach. Some people are calling for his job status. I'm not going to go that far, but I feel like McDermott, there were some questionable times during the game. Sometimes he went for the 2 instead and chased the points. Sometimes he was a little too conservative. Mixed up some of those QB sneaks, and they were stopping you on 3rd and short and getting you into fourth down. Mix up those 4th down play calls so they're not so predictable. That was kind of my thoughts on Sean McDermott, and so he is my not-so player of the week in the Bills-Chiefs games. So those are my players and co-players of the week and units for those games.
My player of the game, Eagles Commanders is Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts has to deal with so much flack every freaking week. And it's always about what he does do. Well, Jalen Hurts had 3 touchdowns, rushing. He also had a passing touchdown. He also took care of the football. He also kept up ahead of the chains. And people forget, this is the same Jalen Hurts who almost blew out his knee in the previous week, and he came out and played. Jalen Hurts understands what his importance is to his team, to the game, and to the situation. You got to play situational football. I'm going to go with Jalen Hurts. I'm not going to do a not player. My not group of the game, Commanders D-line. Dude, they're going to try to run the ball. Like, they are.
Yeah.
And there was no resistance at all. Why? Because I told you Shipley had 77 yards on like 3 carries. He had a touchdown. So that offensive backfield of Shipley, of Barkley, of Jalen Hurts, that's 7 touchdowns. There are teams that won't score 7 rushing touchdowns in 5 games. They scored it in 1 game. So for me, shout out to Shipley, shout out to Saquon, but I think it's Jalen Hurts understanding, and man, I got to be able to play good complementary football. I got to keep us ahead of the chains. I got to feed Saquon. I was able to get, A.J. Brown in Dallas and, Devonta Smith into the act, but I controlled the flow of the game. I created the flow of this game, and and I'm gonna stick with that. As far as Buffalo and Kansas City, my player of the game is the guy that didn't have a lot of stats, and I was talking about a little bit. It's Travis Kelce, because here's the thing, right? Travis Kelce understands his importance. He understands. I'm gonna draw a crowd. See, we talk about these opportunities for Worthy and those guys. Well, it's because 87 is getting double and triple, because they said, hey, man, this 87 will kill you. This dude, number one, he's electrifying, and whoever's on the Taylor Swift cam, they had to deal with that. But I just think about his unselfishness. I just think about the fact that Travis Kelce understands that, look, man, I don't care about stats as much as people think. I care about winning, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to win, and that's what he went out there and did. But I like your not play of the game. It is Sean McDermott. Here's why. There is no time to be conservative, man. Sometimes you doing the right thing and being aggressive, and sometimes you're being too aggressive. Like, what are you cannot take points off the board. If you try to go for 2 and things that nature Smitty and you don't get it. No, kick the extra point and keep you got to look, and Sean McDermott, you've been coaching too many big games. And you got too big of a name player in Josh Allen to be doing this crazy stuff. I know he ain't calling the play, but you have to approve it. So it is Sean McDermott. And listen, once again, Buffalo fans, calling for his job and replacing with who? You lost to Kansas City, right? Ask the Ravens what it's like to play Kansas City. Ask the Dolphins what it's like. Ask Joe Burrow and company what it's like. Ask anybody in that division with Kansas City what it's like. You lost to Kansas City. It was a nail biter. And as far as like the Kincaid situation, just hold your head, man. Because ain't it crazy, Smitty, that with all the great plays or great moments, that you've had in your career, it comes down to that one. And that's why Patrick Mahomes is who he is. He's going to make the play. I don't know how, listen, whether he's throwing from his knees or whether he's doing a no-look. And to me, that's what makes Kansas City dangerous is you have a player that makes a lot of mistakes. Because we act as if it's not like Patrick Mahomes plays mistake-free football, but when you need it, he's going to be there. But Sean McDermott, I was a little disappointed because I understand it's an AFC Championship game and you can't do everything. But come on, man. Like some of these things are just boneheaded stuff. You can't give any momentum back to Kansas City, and when you got the momentum, you got to maintain it. And sometimes I think he took the air out of the team with some of the decisions he was making. And because we started saying, wait, what? Because you go from when you're watching the game, I don't know if you do this, man. You go from, hey man, I'm just watching the game to now I'm watching how they handle each moment, these situations. McDermott didn't handle it right, and I get it. It's easy for me to say this, sitting in sitting in my den in my home, and you sitting in your crib, Smitty. But they pay you to make that decision. They pay you to make two things: hard decisions and the right decision, or the smart decision. And I just think when you look back on it, some of these things were on him. I get the players. I would never, ever blame a coach for that for which the players control, but the players can only run the plays that the coaches allow. And some of these decisions, and now, you got a whole season to go back into, and I know Josh Allen is the man and all this, but yeah, Sean McDermott, man, you could have did your team a better solid than that.
Yeah. Did you happen to see this whole thing with Ben Solak, who works at ESPN, formerly of The Ringer, today? I think some people were talking about him and his take on the 4th down and 5 play with Josh Allen. And you had Ryan Fitzpatrick, you had Dan Orlovsky, you had Ryan Leaf coming in, and all quarterbacks in the NFL, and just talking about his analysis. Did you happen to see that at all?
So what's the skinny? What are they talking about?
So essentially today, he was saying how Dalton Kincaid should not have been the target on that 4th down and 5. If Josh Allen had bottled himself a little bit more time, he would have seen Khalil Shakir as the better throw, and he should have, essentially done that. And made that read instead of Dalton Kincaid. And people are giving. And I like his analysis; he does a good job. But people, and I don't want to get into the weeds here, but basically, I think people are trying to say, guys, like, this is not Madden. Like, you can't just press the quarterback button and get the guy open. You can't just throw the ball across your body like this and like you can in Madden. Josh Allen has to make a split-second decision with 2 6'5" defenders, including Chris Jones, bearing down on him, and he has to decide where to go with the football in those seconds, just like that. And so it's easy.
Hold on.
And like you said, it's easy to be a couch potato and
couch quarterback, couch offensive coordinators. So Dan Orlovsky, who else?
I'm sorry, Dan Orlovsky. If you're listening, I'm sorry, Dan Orlovsky. If you're listening to this, I'm sorry. Ryan Leaf and Ryan Fitzpatrick, the two former NFL quarterbacks.
Okay. Ryan Fitzpatrick, the man. I think, and if I'm not mistaken, didn't Ryan Fitzpatrick go to Harvard?
He did.
Dan Orlovsky, he went to UConn, if I'm not mistaken. Ryan Leaf, who went to Washington State.
Washington State, yep.
So listen, and I'm not listen. Let me preface this. I am not questioning their credibility. I'm not even necessarily questioning their analysis. This is what I am questioning.
Hold on. I got it up. I had to find it though to tell you this. Okay, here we go. This is regarding the 4th and 5 play. Here was the tweet earlier. He basically said, "Here's why I think Josh Allen should have thrown the swing pass to Khalil Shakir. The zone man pre-snap tells him to get off Shakir early, but that's still your best option." Ryan Fitzpatrick essentially comes back and tells him, And essentially, he said if he'd bought a little more time, he would have seen Shakir as the better option as opposed to Dalton Kincaid. Ryan Fitzpatrick comes back and says to him, I really like your passion, your knowledge for the game, but sitting in your comfortable swivel chair with the heater on in the house and a clicker in your hand makes the game very easy. Having two unblocked, unpeded defenders, believe it or not, is pretty difficult to navigate. In the interests of credibility, please don't ever pause the tape again to talk about the space between the unblocked full-speed rushers and how the quarterback just needs to turn his hips and make the throw.
I mean, and Ryan is 100% correct, because here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. It is very easy to get the thing. And number one, a lot of things have to go into these variables when you talking about these plays. I got two unblocked defenders, which means I got to speed up. No matter what, I can only drift back so far and let the rush come to me to try to give my receiver a chance to come open. If I got two unblocked defenders, I got to anticipate getting hit. So my throwing angle might have to change, because if I do it the wrong way and I get hit under here, who knows? It is very, very easy to say what a quarterback should have went with the ball. And let me tell you why it's easy to say that. They're basing us off of what if Kincaid didn't do. If Kincaid makes the catch, oh my God, Josh Allen, you're amazing. Kincaid doesn't make the catch, oh my God, he should have went somewhere else. Well, here's the thing.
The exact tweet, and I had to scroll down a little bit farther. He specifically said, "Why does Josh not throw the orbit to Shakir?" I don't know if you know what that means.
I do know what that is. I mean, basically every single play in the passes game has an orbit or has a hot read. You got to anticipate blitz somewhere. Somebody got the hot. Now here's the thing, right? In the real good quarterbacks do this, and Josh Allen's one of them. They'll call the play. And they'll yell somebody's name. A Shakir, a Dawson, a Dalton, a Keon, a Amari. If Amari Cooper isn't even allowed to be in the passing game or whatever, they'll say, hey man, give me your eyes. Watch out for the. But here's the thing, right? It's a lot of things they have to go into it. Number one, down the distance. 4th and 5, everybody's puckered up, because you don't usually go for it on 4th down.
The game's on the line. This is it.
Which means you're going to take a timeout. You're going to breathe. You're going to do two things. You take a timeout. Sean McDermott, OC, say, hey man, what you think about right here, Josh? Because I want to see where your mind is, and I'm gonna get. Then once you get the play, they saying, look, man, go through your reads. They're not anticipating. One unblocked defender is one thing. You got two of them. And the thing about it is, Smitty, everything happened. Smitty, you've been to a game live, and you've been like right there to say, people have no clue how fast these guys are moving. Like, ain't no split second. Listen, a 3 second play, a quarterback is getting hit. If I can run 40 yards in 4 point whatever seconds, how fast you think I can get to the quarterback if I'm just running the loop? Anyway.
Yeah.
This is the part of football and fandom that gets on my nerves. Even analytics and columnists are breaking down the game. When it starts like this, all he had to do is Number one, Chris Jones is 6'6", 6'7". Josh Allen is 6'5", but that's 6'6", 6'7". With his arms up. Anyway, it's all we are. Let me tell you what we do. We are end result evaluators. This is what I mean by that. After Kincaid don't make the catch, and the throw could have been better, he should have did this. Right? But that's football, ain't it? I mean, Chris Jones and that D-line has said, this got to be my best rush. Why? Because I know how dangerous that dude is. We lost by 3 points. And now, Jack, man, I would never ever do if I'm reading one of your columns, for UNC or Duke or North Carolina State, right, Smitty? You know how easy it is to say, man, I would have said this. Well, right. Well, you write your own column. Oh, that's right. You don't write columns. You're critical of, well, Josh Allen is one of the best quarterbacks in the world. And here's the thing. It makes the degree of difficulty go much higher when I got two defenders coming on me. So I got to adjust the throw. So the timing is off. Now, a perfect pocket, I think he makes that throw. I think he make that catch easily. This isn't a perfect pocket. Either I got to slide up into the pocket, I got to slide back, I got to slide left, slide right, and I got to get the ball out. It's 4th and 5. And the fact that it's 4th and 5, they playing at the sticks. So those defenders, they playing at the sticks. When they playing like 4 or 5 yards, they going to let come hell or high water before they let you catch it. So it's so many things that can go into a play. I don't like the easy way out. But when Ryan Fitzpatrick said, "Listen, man, let me tell you something. Sitting in the comfort of your home with a clicker, like I'm gonna tell you who else do this, and I love him, I respect him. This is what Emmanuel Acho does. He sits in front of his TV and says, "Let me show you, let me show you, let me show you, let me show you, let me show you." Yeah, but what did happen? With all the scenarios you tell me could have happened, what did happen? Oh, 2 defenders came loose. Got it. That's why quarterbacks get paid the money they get paid for their playmaking ability, their ability to make every throw. But how many people got to stand in the pocket with 2 potentially 300-pound men, 250 to 300-something plus pound men coming bailing down on you? Because you're gonna get hit. And all of a sudden, Kincaid, yeah, I'm never gonna be that guy. I appreciate quarterbacks get paid the money they get paid because they got to sit in the pocket, make a throw, and they finna get hit. You see a quarterback getting out the ground. But yeah, I agree with Ryan Fitzpatrick and Ryan Lees of the world, Dan Orlovsky. Listen, let me say this. I'm gonna respect any quarterback that got a chance to strap it up for the National Football League, whether they the 2nd overall pick, that it didn't work out, that you was a journeyman coming from Harvard, or you most known for running out the back of the end zone. And I love you, Dio. You know what I'm saying? But analytics has to be more than just, the reason why you're passionate about Bryce Young, Smitty, because you can see stuff. You can see more than just what he's doing on the field. You can see like, hey, man, I'm trying to tell you, like, I get it. He's not playing well. But let me show you these. They use the word intangibles. It's a word that nobody can really,
He's got the it factor. Yeah, he does.
So, hey, man, listen. So the gentleman that did it, cool. But if you're trying to get clicks or likes or retweets or whatever, trying to criticize a 4th and 5 play in the AFC Championship game against a Kansas City Chiefs defense that gets very, very stingy in games like this, try again, man. Stop it now.
All right. Well, I didn't want to spend a lot of time on that. But anyway, so I was just addressing that there. So let's get into these coaching hires and the headlines throughout the league to spend our remaining time. We're going to get into the Super Bowl next week for this podcast. We're not going to get into the Super Bowl today. We have 2 weeks, so we have a gap. We will have a guest on next week. Shout out to Matt Wallman, who'll be coming on next week. Look for that episode with Matt next week, along with our Super Bowl preview. That'll be our main objectives next week. So the rest of our time, we're going to get into some headlines and coaching carousel around the league. And then as we get closer into February, into March, we'll obviously get into the draft down the road as well. Let's hit these headlines really quick, Ben, and then we'll get into the coaching stuff. New Jets head coach Aaron Glenn, non-committal on Aaron Rodgers' status with the Jets going forward. That's headline number 1. Art Rooney prefers the Steelers keep either Justin Fields or Russell Wilson, not both. Headline 3, Liam Cohen wants Jacksonville playing on edge. Headline 4, Raiders new head coach Pete Carroll thrilled to work with new general manager John Spytek. Great name, by the way. I think John Spytek's on the wrong field. Great name. Brian Schottenheimer, Cowboys built to win quickly. Brian Schottenheimer, son of Marty Schottenheimer, named Dallas head coach just the other day. And then finally, 2 more. Josh Allen and the Bills defending Dalton Kincaid today amidst that online backlash that he got. And then Zach Ertz is rejuvenated after playing with Jake Daniels and said, I ain't retiring. I'm coming back next year. We're going to run this back once again. So what are the stuff that sticks out to you there?
Well, Aaron Glenn definitely shops at a place called Common Sense because, why would he be committal on a 41, soon to be 42-year-old quarterback that while he can still make throws, he don't win games. We're here to win games, not to see how many touchdowns past 500 you can add to your repertoire. What was number 2? Because you gave me a bunch of these.
Oh, sorry. Dan Rooney prefers the Steelers keep Justin
Fields. And that's smart. That's smart. Because Dan Rooney understands this. Listen, man, if you got 2 quarterbacks, that means you don't have one. Pick one of the 2 and move on. I think it probably should be Justin Fields because he's younger, and I think he's the guy that's built to win in Pittsburgh. I can see Russell Wilson, heading to Vegas and put on that silver and black because I think that him and a Pete Carroll, Russell Wilson reunion is definitely on the horizon.
New Jacksonville head coach Liam Cohen wants Jaguars playing on the edge.
If Liam Cohen, he would know on the edge, wouldn't he? I mean, ain't that how he got hired?
We'll get into that. We'll get into that in just a second.
I'm just saying, now I will say this. I can appreciate him saying playing on the edge because I think what he's looking around and saying, look, our franchise quarterback outside of the money has not done anything for this franchise but put us in the bottom of the barrel when you talk about how he hasn't competed. But he got to say something. He got to make sure those players understand that, look, man, I'm not here just to fill a slot. I'm here to win games. I want you guys to know I'm gonna put a lot of pressure on you, and we'll see if that works. Because up until now, Doug Peterson, nope. Urban Meyer, nope. So so we'll see if it works with Liam Cohen.
Raiders new head coach Pete Carroll thrilled to work with new general manager John Spytek, who has ties with Tom Brady down in Tampa when they were there together. And then Brian Schottenheimer said Cowboys are built to win quickly.
Pete Carroll, listen, they say he's the most energetic 72, 73-year-old on the planet. I mean, Spytek obviously was orchestrated Tom Brady coming to Tampa. The problem was Tom Brady was the quarterback. Gronk was the tight end. I mean, you had guys like Leonard Fournette and Antonio Brown, and then you had a really good defense. You got Brock Bowers. And outside of that, it ain't much to really go home about when you talk about right now. We'll see what type of quarterback they can get in there. Brian Schottenheimer, let me tell you something. Number one, hey man, congratulations to you. I mean, I know he was talking about his dad, Marty, at the end of his press conference saying, he was saying, listen, man, this is the easy part. Now it's time to get to work. Let me tell you something. I don't know how Brian Schottenheimer became the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys outside the fact that he has yes man.
He's been there forever.
Yeah, he has yes man written all over his face. Whatever Jerry Jones want to say and do, but the thing is, they ready to win quickly. Based off of what? Like based off of the fact that I'm just saying, like based off of what you had 2 teams, you had two teams in your division play for the NFC Championship game, and one of them's going to the Super Bowl. So even if they are winning quickly, are they beating them? Are they beating them consistently? No and no. But once again, just like Brian Schottenheimer, just like Aaron Glenn, just like Liam Cohen, they got to say something that stand out with these press conferences. And hey, man, introductory press conference, you got to win those now. Oh man, Aaron Glenn is saying out Bill Parcells and Joe Namath saying, oh, this guy's doing this, guy's doing that. Liam Cohen talking about you got to play on the edge. All right, Liam. We know you live on the edge. We know that. And hey, Brian Schottenheimer, hey, when you the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, you're gonna get way more praise than you should. You're gonna get way more criticism than you should. We'll see if he can handle. We'll see if he can find that healthy balance.
And then Zach Ertz talking about he's not retiring, going to eye a return to the Commanders next year. And then Josh Allen and his teammates defended Dalton Kincaid after some backlash and some death threats that he's received after the horrible stuff after just a football game. At the end of the day.
So much respect for Josh Allen and his teammates coming out. And I was talking about it when the show first began. I mean, that's ridiculous. Like, we take it to the extreme as fans. Those players want to win more than anybody out there. Anybody that's watching or rooting for them, they out there actually trying to get it done. And now, that's how we show support. Because here's the thing. People say, well, Ben, you think a lot of that's coming from Buffalo fans? Absolutely. Because our own worst enemy is the closest ones to us. And sometimes it is the fan base. But shout out to Josh Allen and his teammates. He was saying, Josh Allen kept saying, he said, I got to be better for him. I got to give him a better throw. I got to put him in position. He said he talked about how he battled through injuries, played in games he probably shouldn't have, probably should have sat out more games. He was talking about how battle-tested the young man was and how good of a player he is. Shout out to him doing that. And Zach Ertz, hey, man, that's what young energy will do for you, right? It's something about being a part of the resurgence of a place. And he said, I want to run it back. Another year with this young phenom known as Jaden Daniels, they keep on adding pieces because the Eagles ain't going nowhere. So you're going to have to deal with them again. But I do appreciate Zach Ertz saying, listen, man, I'm a running back in. Something about these seasoned tight ends like Travis Kelce, like Zach Ertz, like George Kittle, that's saying, look, man, we're going to keep going until we can't. Shout out to Zach Ertz, man, who has turned out to have a hell of a career thus far. Even though I know he got another year coming.
All right, so let's. I'll give you some of my overreactions at the end once we get through these coaches. To just really quick to close it out, but let's spend maybe a minute or two on each of these head coaching vacancies. Most of them now filled, and just kind of talk about our thoughts on those on the coaches and kind of expectations for the team next year, realistically. Just a couple minutes. We'll start with the Saints because they're the only one without a coach currently. It seems like Kellen Moore, offensive coordinator for the Eagles. Mike Kafka, offensive coordinator for the New York Giants. And Mike McCarthy are the kind of the three finalists, if you will, for the Saints job. Do you think any of those guys fit the Saints job? And what are your expectations for whoever gets this job for next year?
I think McCarthy fits because I think the whole Dennis Allen thing kind of blew up in their face. They do kind of want a veteran coach that comes in that already has a Super Bowl and a lot of respect throughout the league to be able to go ahead and put together a good staff. But I think if New Orleans are trying to blow it up and do it the right way, I think you go with Kellen Moore. I think he's the guy that's, kind of like, he's shown that he can call plays. And I think a New Orleans team, they can compete right now. In the NFC South, depending on the quarterback, is it going to be Spencer Rattler or somebody in the draft or somebody in free? I think they can compete right now. Now, the Bucs are good. The Panthers are building. The Falcons got a new D coordinator. That
they're building too. Yeah,
they're building. But I think that whole division is wide open. Even though the Bucs have won the last 3 years in a row. But yeah, you get a McCarthy in there that brings credibility, or Kellen Moore that brings a new energy. I think either one of those guys would be a big time hire for New Orleans.
All right, let's go to the New York Jets. Aaron Glenn named the new head coach there in the Big Apple. Former Panthers defensive coordinator Steve Wilkes going to be coming there as the defensive coordinator under Aaron Glenn. And then some of the other hires that they've made that I don't have on my sheet in front of me. But Aaron Glenn is the coach of the New York Jets and expectations.
Well, great hire. Former Jet has came through the coaching ranks the right way. Have figured out what it is to build a team. Back up, being up there in Detroit with Dan Campbell, is obviously won the likes of a Joe Namath and a Bill Parcells. That Jets fan base, they said, look, man, I don't know how good the Jets are going to be in 2025, but Aaron Glenn will have you ready to run through a wall for him. And his ability to resonate with the players, to not just to be a player's coach, but to hold them accountable, to be able to discipline when he needs to discipline, praise them when he needs to praise them, and get them to go out there and play hard. I think Aaron and Steve Wilkes, D coordinator. He putting together a really, really nice staff. It's going to come down to who he gets a quarterback, how they build in free agency, what they do in the draft. Because like I say, yeah, New England as a toss-up. They're not beating Buffalo. And dare I say they're not beating Miami right now. We'll see how well he can do in year one.
Let's go to Mike Vrabel in New England. Drake May, a second-year quarterback. They got a lot of cap space. They've got a top 3-4 pick in the draft. Expectations for next year in New England.
Obviously Drake May is going to be going to have any coach ready to come, want to coach him. Vrabel is trying to get a lot of those guys back. What's the offensive coordinator? He's been there a long time. Left, came back.
Oh yeah, Josh McDaniels. They did hire him.
Yeah, they try. Here's the thing about it. They're trying to get their old Patriot way back. I think that Vrabel was always the guy for Robert Kraft, Gerard Mayo, who obviously played for the Patriots, coached with the Patriots. I think he was a fill-in. I think the Patriots got a lot of holes. And while Vrabel is definitely a guy that can coach hard, they're going to have to use a lot of money in free agency. We're going to see what they're going to do. They got a pretty high draft pick, who they're going to pick there. But they're trying to get that old Patriot way back. But no Bill Belichick, no Tom Brady, no Teddy Bruschi, no Ty Law, no Richard Seymour. No Vince Wilfork, and no Gronk. You know what I'm saying? You had a lot of great players that came through there. They got to get back. The Patriot way was getting some of the best players. And right now, they got the Gonzalez kid. They got Drake May. That's about it. So we'll see what happens. But they're trying to get that. They're trying to get that old thing back right now.
Let's head to Chicago, where Ben Johnson gets this head coaching job with the Chicago Bears, formerly the Detroit Lions offensive coordinator, just last week.
This is gonna be a wait and see, because I know he's looking at what Caleb Williams can be. I know he's looking at what Chicago hasn't been, and he wants to be able to say, hey, man, if you can win the Chicago Monster the Midway, I don't know how bad of a culture Chicago is. Ben Johnson is really going to prove it because with Coach Eberflus, it was just bad. I don't think he should have ever been the head coach. But if Ben Johnson going to have to rebuild that culture, he's going to have to rebuild. He's going to have to rebuild the confidence, of a Caleb Williams. He was just running for his life last year, trying to just make plays. But I do think he's a good hire. I really, really do think he's a good hire. But I'm going to have to. I'm still going. I'm still going to be on the wait and see when it comes to them as far as like wins, losses in 2025.
All right, last three. We'll start with Pete Carroll in Vegas. Also hired John Spytek to be their general manager, as we know. As we said, worked with Tom Brady down there in Tampa.
I was shocked with this one. I'm not going to lie. Pete Carroll was the guy they said, listen, ever since he left, well, it's only been a year or so that he left Seattle, they said he wanted to get back into coaching. People say, would he go back to college? They're like, no. I think the thing about the Raiders is Tom Brady understands coaches. Sputnik coming over from Tampa, he understands having a general manager that has a good relationship with the head coach. Head coach trusts the general manager to bring the players in. It's the Raiders though. Just like I said about Chicago, the Raiders have been down for a long time, and it's hard to just get out of the dark ages because that go Kansas City, that go Denver. That go to Chargers. So it's not like the division is doing any favors for you. When three of the four went to the freaking playoffs, and one of them having a rookie quarterback. But hey, it's gonna be a wait and see. Like I said, Brock Bowers is definitely any quarterback that can't find a way to get this young man the ball, but all he does is catch passes. He don't run the football. He does block. He don't play defense. We'll see what Pete Carroll can do getting back in the saddle. I will say there's a guy by the name of Russell, last name Wilson. He only signed a 1-year deal with Pittsburgh. I can see him moving on to greener pastures.
And I forgot to mention the Jets, their new general manager with Aaron Glenn is Darren Moge, former assistant general manager of the Denver Broncos, coming over to the New York Jets there. And going to the last two, we're going to spend a little bit more time on because I know you wanted to talk about these two a little bit. We'll start with Brian Schottenheimer with the Dallas Cowboys. It looks like Matt Eberflus is going to come over as the defensive coordinator, not official yet. Jerry is great in landman, but as a general manager of a football team, it just comes down to Jerry does not want to relinquish control. And listen, Ben, I'm not going to sit up here and say that Jerry has lost his way. I think people have kind of said that before, but he came out in his press conference today and essentially said, yeah, Brian Schottenheimer, first-time head coach, it's a big risk that I'm taking here. I'm really getting out of my comfort zone here.
Let me tell you what we do with Jerry Jones. You kind of just did it, Smitty. We respect Jerry Jones and what he's done as the owner of the Dallas Cowboys. We the 3 Super Bowls with Aikman and Irvin and Smith. I get it. We respect him as being a genius when it comes to branding and marketing. He is a genius. We talk about the Dallas Cowboys whether we like it or not. This Schottenheimer hire was about as left field as it gets. The press conference was left field because even with is that a real press conference with Jerry Jones? Or are they asking him softball questions because he don't
Yes.
Because he's even proven. Don't ask me no hard questions, man, because you know what I'm saying? It just don't make no sense. With all the coaches that were available, Schottenheimer came up on one list, and that would be Jerry Jones.
And I would say and just that fact alone, even if he came up on other lists, you had to know you're going to have time here. You didn't have to rush this. Bring Kellen Moore in for a second interview. Bring in, he played for you. He coached there. And bring in Dion for an interview. I don't care who you hire because I'm not a Cowboys fan, but I just think they rushed this.
Yeah, they panicked. They because let me tell you what Jerry Jones really did, in my opinion. Jerry Jones, somebody told him, they said his daddy, his son, Stephen Jones, probably like, Daddy, listen. Once the first hire come, it's going to be like wow. They're going to go boop, boop, boop. They're going to start getting them off the board quick because they don't want to lose their guy. Here come Liam Cole, different, this, and third. And like I said, listen, Brian Schottenheimer been around a long time. Obviously, the son of Marty Schottenheimer, he could definitely call plays. And if I'm not mistaken, I want to say Brian Schottenheimer. Hold on, because I got because somebody want to.
He was offensive coordinator from Seattle in 2018 through 2020, I believe, or 2017 through 2019. One of his stops was Seattle.
I mean,
but he's been in many places. Seattle's definitely one of them.
Yeah,
and the Jets are another one.
No, I mean, because hold on, because why does this make me laugh? Because I think I saw something when it comes to Mark. I think Brian Schottenheimer. I think we might have. Oh my God, I knew it. You know what college? You know what college he went to? He went to freaking Florida. He went to Florida in college. I knew it. Dang it. Anyway, I think he was a quarterback or something like that. Anyway, and oh my God, and he was on the national championship team in '96. Anyway. So I think the thing about it is this, though, Smitty. When it comes to the Cowboys, whatever they do, it matters. Who they hire, who they fire, who they bring in, and Schottenheimer has a big last name. He's Marty Schottenheimer's son, and he has credibility. But when Jerry Jones said, "I'm taking a big risk," oh, I know you are, and he signed like a 3-year deal. It ain't like a 5 or 6 years. I don't think it's a long deal, but hey, it is the Cowboys. Whatever they do is gonna be shocking, and this was a shocker. When Schottenheimer is interviewing Jerry Jones, Jerry was like, "I don't really care about your offensive, I don't really care about your offensive scheme or what your offensive philosophy is. I want you to go out there and help us, win this division." He's like, "Okay, Mr. Jones," and he got the job. Eberflus going, and you bring in the coach Eberflus for this. I bring in a former head coach to help the first year head coach. Hey man, this is how you get acclimated. You know what I'm saying? Because he's gonna need a lot of on the job training. If you want to look at it like that. And listen, Schottenheimer can prove me wrong, but when I look around that division, yes, you can beat the Giants. No, you won't beat the Jets. No, you won't beat the Eagles and the Commanders. They coming, so we'll see. We'll see. But to work with Dak Prescott got to be intriguing for any coach. We'll see if Schottenheimer can help out. But that press conference, I don't watch Jerry Jones press conferences because it's not a real press conference. All it is trying to make sure you ask questions that don't piss him off. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, man, it's the Cowboys, man. What can I say? The circus is definitely in town in Dallas.
The only owner that has a standing radio show every single week, and after games, even does a press availability after the anyway. The other offensive coordinator that I forgot to mention for the teams that are hiring coaches, I'm sorry, not offense, defensive coordinator is Ben Johnson's defensive coordinator is former Saints head coach Dennis Allen will be his defensive coordinator.
But you see how these head coaches, Coach Eberflus, he gets cut, he gets let go by Chicago. Now he's the defensive coordinator for Dallas. Dennis Allen, he gets because of Bryce Young.
Because of Bryce Young. Yep.
Right now he's the defensive coach. Look, these head coaches, they probably built to be coordinators, but because they probably supersede everything, they got a chance to be head coaches. And people say, well, why is that? Well, they still getting paid. They still get the buyouts. They get 2 checks. They get the buyouts for the team that just let them go. They get another check for the team they own. Shout out to them. Shout out to Coach Allen. Shout out to Coach Evans.
And then finally, Liam Cohen to the Jacksonville Jaguars, replacing Doug Peterson, working with Trevor Lawrence, Trevor Etienne, or Travis Etienne rather, and Christian Kirk and company. Josh Hines Allen on that defense. Whew. So here's what I got to say really quick on this. And Ben, you can kind of talk about what you want to say with Liam Cohen. Let's say, I want to say they were going to make him about $4 million a year with being the highest paid offensive coordinator in the league with his new deal with the Bucs. Okay. Jacksonville fires Trent Baalke after initially saying we're not going to. They go back and say, "Hey, Liam, are you interested? We just fired Baalke for you. How much am I going to make as head coach? Oh, $12 million. That's triple the salary that the Bucs are about to give him as the offensive coordinator re-upped. Triple your salary, ladies and gentlemen. This is not hard to figure this out. There are 32 NFL head coaching jobs in the National Football League. Liam Cohen wants one. And he is making triple the money he would have made as the new offensive coordinator salary in Tampa Bay. So spare me with this, Liam Cohen, what is he doing? Yes. Do Buck fans want to do? I'm pretty fired up about this. Do Buck fans want to? Do they want to take some sort of credit for Liam Cohen? I mean, he's been to the Rams. He's been with Kentucky football. He's been all over the place. He didn't just become a good play caller overnight here. He's been a good play caller in college and in the National Football League. So spare me with the Bucs got their feelings hurt and all this nonsense. He's one of the 32 head coaches in the National Football League, making triple his salary from last year.
Liam Cohen, the Liam Cohen situation got really, really interesting, really, really fast. Liam Cohen, I think, is the reason why Trent Baalke got fired, because I think that Liam Cohen goes to see the Jags. I mean, I think the conversation was like, listen, I would love to be the head coach here, but I don't know how comfortable I feel working with Trent Baalke because I don't really trust the decision-making process.
The setup is what they call it.
Yeah. So then he leaves, and, Mr. Khan finally realized, listen, man, I don't care I don't know how much y'all paying these people on these news networks or these sports networks to say how attractive the Jacksonville Jaguars head coach position is. Everybody coming in the building, walking out the building with no contract. So you coveted Liam Cohen, right? But he don't want to come there because of Trent Baalke. So Trent Baalke goes back to the Bucs. The Bucs saying, listen, we're gonna make you the highest paid coordinator. Mr. Khan calls Liam. Liam's son is sick, and I believe all these things happen. And then listen, he said, look, sir, they making me the highest. We're going to give you $12 million. We on our way. Now, on their way back to Jacksonville, he goes off the grid. Can't nobody from the Bucs organization get in contact with Liam Cohen. Nobody. Not other coaches, not players, nobody in the organization. Not Todd Bowles, nobody. He went dark. Next thing you know, whoever's in charge of watching the news, they see breaking news. Liam Cohen just became. Now, it's something you said, Smitty. If you're a Bucs fan, listen, man, listen. Liam Cohen can call plays. He can also count. $12 million, no state tax. I get to be the head coach. Listen, I love what Baker Mayfield is doing, but I'm gonna take my chances. Listen, the NFC South and the AFC South, it ain't that much difference in the two as far as like the fact that both divisions are wide open. But yeah, the Liam Cohen, it just got interesting for no reason. Like Liam Cohen used the one thing that most of us will never have, but we wish we did have, and that's called leverage. He walked in the Jaguars organization and said, I want to work out. I want to work with Trent Baalke. So they got rid of Trent Baalke. Let me make sure people understand about this highest paid now. There were stipulations on being the highest paid coordinator. And the stipulation was you cannot take a second interview with the Jags. That was a stipulation. We're going to make you the highest paid, but you can't interview with them again. That's why he went dark. He went dark because he leave there, get a phone call, 904 is Jacksonville, 813 or 727 is Tampa. I live down there. I used to have. Anyway, let me ask you this, Smitty, because people trying to act like Liam Cohen did something crazy. Ryan Smith is the offensive coordinator for the Bucs. They call you up to Jacksonville. You like what you see, but you're like, I don't want to work with him. So they're all right. You leave. You say, oh, they got rid of Trent Baalke. Dang, that's crazy. You get back to the Bucs. They say we're gonna make you the highest paid. Listen. Your wife is like, oh my God, this is incredible. Hold on for a second. Hello? Hey, this is Mr. Khan. How you doing, Mr. Khan? Listen, man, we want you to be the head coach, man. We got you get $12 million a year. What? You dropped the phone. Whoa. Hello? You know what I'm saying?
Like, yeah, triple your salary. You're tripling. When do you have the opportunity to triple your salary? In
never. I mean, listen. Basically, what we're saying, people, those you say, listen, you're making $100,000 a year. Now you're making $300. You're making $300. Now you make it. You know what I'm saying? You're making $900. Anyway. He's making, and it's all guaranteed. Then he got his buyout. Shout out to Liam Cohen for using his leverage. I hope it works out in Jacksonville just to. But if you missed the con, I mean, you can't do no worse. You had Urban Meyer, Chris Doyle, the former, disgraced strength coach from Iowa.
Yeah.
Tim Tebow at tight end. Tom Coughlin back in the building. You got rid of Calais Campbell. You got rid of Unique Ndakwe. You got rid of Jalen Ramsey, right? You got rid of Aaron. You got rid of Blake Bortles, who was in the AFC Championship game against the freaking against New England. Anyway,
yeah,
it's a mess in Jacksonville. I don't know how much Liam Cohen got to deal with because right now the Jaguars and the Titans are both bottom feeders in the AFC South. We'll see who come out on top or come out with a better record in 2025.
Here are the ones that are just miscellaneous that I didn't talk about either because they're non-hiring teams or just ones that just made the list. Lions working to hire Broncos passing game coordinator John Morton as their new offensive coordinator. Robert Saleh is back in the Bay as the defensive coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers once again. Seahawks are hiring Saints offensive coordinator Clint Kubiak to be their offensive coordinator, going from New Orleans to Seattle. And then finally, you just mentioned the Doyle family. Declan Doyle, son of Chris Doyle, will be the new offensive coordinator in Ben Johnson's scheme in Chicago.
I mean, the Doyle. Listen. I'm just saying. I was talking about the man when he was at Iowa. When I'm talking about his son, and I mean, when it comes to these different moves, the one thing that stands out is this. Everybody thinks they're going to be able to replace these coordinators just left. I'm going to be able to replace Ben Johnson. I'm going to be able to replace Aaron Glenn. You got to look at what the guys did with the teams they was on and how they got to that point with the teams they was previously on. It don't just happen that way. That's why Bryce Youngs of the world have to deal with more scrutiny because they won't stop comparing him to Cam. He's not Cam. Both won the Heisman, both number 1 overall pick, both won the national championship, even though Cam was the starter and Bryce Young was the backup to Mac Jones. It's like, that's the thing I'm talking about, Smitty, is Caleb Williams, this time last year, he get drafted. He's on Hard Knocks. Oh, he's going to be the first Chicago Bear to throw for 5,000 yards. Who cares? You know who led the league in passing yards? That would be Joe Burrow. Did he make the playoffs? No. It doesn't matter. Stop. We worry about these dumb stats. Listen, we are box score stat compilers, and the only stat that matters is the wins and losses. Ask Patrick Mahomes, who didn't make the Pro Bowl, who didn't make an All-Pro team, and is probably going to be hoisting up another trophy if he can help it. That's what matters the most.
All right, Ben, to close this out, I know we're a little over our hour and 10-ish minutes that we like to go for. Let me give you some overreactions that I thought of, and you can kind of tell me if this is a proper reaction or if this is an overreaction to hit you out the door here. Some of these I'm very proud of myself. Some of these it might be a little crazy talk. If Josh Allen wants to make a Super Bowl, he's got to make a trade to the NFC.
Ooh. Hey, you might be on to something. Problem is, Josh Allen going to be just like Carson Palmer all those years with Cincinnati, or he too good of a player. And he going to have to earn the heart. Josh Allen right now, to me, is I'm trying to get a healthy comparison. Josh Allen is Phillip Rivers. Really, really good in the regular season, man. But he can't get over the hump. He can't beat Tom Brady. He can't beat Peyton Manning. He can't beat Joe Flacco. You know what I'm saying? So for me, he is the second coming of Phillip Rivers. He gonna light that regular season up. But when he meet him gonna send him packing. So I love Josh Allen, but at a certain point, Smitty, people gonna get sick of his regular season and say, hey man, can you beat him? Who? And it's 3 hymns. It starts with Patrick Mahomes. Then you're talking about Lamar Jackson. Then you're talking about Joe Burrow. Beat Lamar Jackson, right? A little controversy, but beat him. But yeah, I mean, if he does go to the NFC, it's gonna be 15. It's gonna be 10 years from now. He's gonna be played well over 15 years. In Buffalo.
Yeah. Jaden Daniels will have the Commanders not only back in the playoffs next year, but he'll be back in the divisional round or better.
Oh, the NFC is so volatile. I can see that happening, but the league got a full year on you now. See, the league got to get a full tape on you, see what you do, what you don't do, and can you continue to elevate? If he can continue to elevate, which I think he can, yeah. But
okay, all right.
So yeah.
2 more. Saquon Barkley. If the Eagles win the Super Bowl, he will finish the best season for a running back in NFL history.
Yes. And let me say this. To everybody out there got something to say. He rushed for over 2,000 yards in 16 games. He did not play in the 17. He did not play. So he didn't break the record. But yes, winning the Super Bowl is and the rest of the league, as far as like running backs, future and current, can thank Saquon Barkley for rejuvenating the running back position because these guys were seen as, oh man, they're expendable. You don't really need them just playing plug guys. No, man. The Chubba Hubbards of the world, the Saquon Barkley of the world, the Derrick Henrys of the world, these guys are special. And yeah, if he does, and I hope he does, man, because what the Giants tried to do to this man's career, they should be fined for that, man. That should be punishable by some jail, not prison time, but at least like a week in jail, man. Now, you don't do that.
Now we know, as of now, Tom Brady still has the most Super Bowls. He's the GOAT in a lot of people's eyes. Patrick Mahomes, if he retired in 2 weeks after the Super Bowl, win or lose, is he already the second best quarterback of all time behind Brady?
Yes. And if he wins, he might be the greatest. He might be the greatest. Here's why. I think he's played in 7 AFC Championship games now.
7 straight. Yep.
He's 29 years old. He already has 3 Super Bowls. He's played in 4. Only one he lost to was to the GOAT.
Because he had no offensive line.
Yep, he's already beaten Kyle Shanahan and Jimmy Garoppolo and Brock Purdy twice. Yep. He's already beaten Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni once. Now he's going to try to do it again. The reason why I say it is because I never look at how long you played. I look at what you did by the time you played. The greatest example is this. Luke Kuechly. What he did with the time that he played was about as good as you could play.
First ballot Hall of Famer next week. We're going to see that. We're going to see it.
Listen. And Aaron Donald played 10 years. Look at what he did, right? It's not how long you play. It's how you played, when you played. I'll give you Patrick Willis. Didn't play a long time. Look at all them all-pros in a row. It's what you did. So for me, I think the thing about Patrick Mahomes is we never thought that people would even sniff what Tom Brady has done. Patrick Mahomes, like, okay.
He'll be halfway to 7 with this Super Bowl.
Listen, halfway to 7. Will turn 30 years old this year, only getting better. He's married, he got children. It's like he ain't chasing. I'm not saying that Travis Kelce is chasing celebrity, but it's like Patrick Mahomes outside of football is a very, very, very normal, everyday dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, and to me, I think that's what keeps him the way he is. He seems like a guy you'll see out in the bottom of Kansas City, and you can just talk to him. You know what I'm saying? He's just the best football. Look, and I'm gonna keep saying this. I think the best quarterback in the world is Lamar Jackson. I think he's the best quarterback in the world for what he can do. I think the best player in the world is Patrick Mahomes. He just plays the quarterback. I think Patrick Mahomes is the best player in the world because they both play quarterback. But I just think the thing about Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes knows this, Smitty. Dude, give me the worst situation to be in and watch what I do. Just give me.
So let me flip you really quick. This was not one of mine. I was just going to say this really quick. You can just we're already over time, so this could be like yes or no. Prime Lamar or Prime Vic?
Oh my God. Okay. Woo. Now, Mike Vick, you know, I love you. God, you know I do. You know, right? Took Atlanta to different stratospheres. But this is the thing. Prime Lamar can give you Vic with the throwing. He can give you Vic with the and I think that's what Lamar is. Lamar is Michael Vick with the consistent passing, right? Because Michael Vick had a cannon and he a lefty too. But outside of Algie Crumpler, his receivers, like he had Roddy White, he had like Mike Jenkins in them. They wasn't giving. Roddy White became that dude when Matty Ice got there. He was okay. So I would say prime Lamar, because prime Lamar, prime Mike is what he does with his feet. That's what you're waiting on. Prime Lamar, he gonna do you with his feet. He can do it, because like I say, I think we just seen it this year. 41 touchdown passes, 4 picks.
Yeah.
What? So, hey, man, I'll go. And listen, Vic, I love you. We had the same agent. Had your jersey. Had your Atlanta Falcons red 7 with the, red jersey with the white 7 in college. Girls used to ask me, "Oh, y'all gonna play Michael Vick and them?" I said, "I hope we don't." In Virginia Tech, oh no. I love our defense, but they don't want to be.
Hey, Mike Vick, if you're listening, buddy, come on and win
the division, man. We'd love to have you too, man. Congratulations on being the new head football coach of Norfolk State, man. I think they got a great hire. And tell Deshaun Jackson if he want to come. I know he's the new head coach of Delaware State. Tell Eddie George, TSU, if he want to come through too. Any one of y'all, hey, y'all come through. We'll make room for you, no doubt.
Absolutely. The last thing I wanted to say, though, this is not an overreaction. This is just a separate thing. Can we finally can we stop doing, remember a couple years ago when they had the note card to measure the first down, and now we have the chain gang. When are we going to get the ball with the technology in the ball? And what the NFL has billions of dollars.
Yes,
and we're still doing a chain gang. We don't need to. We're going to be here for a while if we talk about this.
The human error aspect of any sport is real, and I can't remember the one. I can't remember who was playing. I remember when the referee comes out there, he got the index card. He's like this. He's like this. It's like it's so disrespectful to us as the consumers of this sport. We know what we're looking at. Right? Everybody wants to go back to, even though in the NFL, the Jadeveon Clowney hit against Michigan. Well, dude, you know what I'm saying? It's like, stop playing with us. We're watching the same replay you're watching. All this, let's go under the headset. We go on to New York. Ain't it crazy when the guy from New York be like, yeah, they're going to overturn this. And then they come back and say, no. And listen, we're going to call it, listen, the call stands as on the field. So, yes, I do agree with you, Smitty. There are certain things when it comes to football is well outdated. The chains crew, come on, man. Like the only thing with the chains crew, remember back in there, you got the chains crew, you got the guy, and they pull it down, and somebody come jump over the chain, and they stick it down, they pull it. Whoever controlling that little line, the little line that you can see on TV, that's what be getting people in trouble.
Yeah,
is the line right?
It's unofficial.
Okay.
Unofficial. Well, this has been Winning the Division, episode number 24. You can rate, review, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Find us on YouTube, Tobacco Road Sports Radio. Find us on the Keep Counting Podcast Network, Fans First Sports Network. Remember, as we say here at Winning the Division, you are either winning your division or you are in the division, just in the division. And we'll be back for episode 25 next week with Matt Waldman, getting some NFL draft breakdown analysis, and we're going to go over maybe this thing called the Super Bowl in New Orleans in a few weeks. And we'll be back for another episode next week. And this is Ryan Smith and Ben Troupe for Winning the Division, episode number 24. We'll see you next time.